The snowflakes danced like diamonds against the amber streetlights of Manhattan's Upper East Side, where Victoria Sterling stood at her penthouse window, adjusting her emerald Cartier necklace. At 32, she was the youngest CEO in luxury fashion, her name gracing the covers of Forbes and Vogue alike. Tonight was her company's annual Christmas gala, a glittering affair that would raise millions for charity while showcasing her latest couture collection. But as Victoria gazed down at the bustling street below, something caught her eye that made her perfectly manicured fingers pause on the silk curtains. Across the street, huddled in a doorway of a closed boutique, sat a young woman no older than 20. Her thin coat was inadequate against December's bite. And beside her sat a little girl, maybe 5 years old, wrapped in what appeared to be a donated blanket. The child's eyes sparkled with innocent wonder as she pointed at the twinkling Christmas lights adorning the nearby buildings, completely oblivious to their dire circumstances. Victoria's assistant, Marcus, appeared behind her with a tablet full of last-minute details. "The car will be here in 10 minutes, Ms. Sterling. The photographers are already gathering at the plaza." "Marcus," Victoria said softly, not turning from the window, "do you see them?" He followed her gaze and nodded grimly. "Unfortunately, it's becoming more common in the city. The shelter system is overwhelmed." Victoria watched as the little girl tugged on her mother's sleeve, pointing excitedly at a golden retriever walking by with its owner. The child's pure joy in such a simple moment stirred something deep within Victoria's chest, a feeling she had unexperienced since she was that age, before board meetings and profit margins consumed her world. "I'll be right back," Victoria announced, surprising herself. "Miss Sterling, you couldn't be late to your own," but Victoria was already grabbing her white cashmere coat and heading for the elevator. Her Louboutin heels clicked against the marble lobby floor as she crossed the street, her heart pounding with nervous energy. "Excuse me," she said gently as she approached the pair. The young mother looked up with weary, defensive eyes, clearly accustomed to being moved along or ignored. She instinctively pulled her daughter closer. "I'm Victoria," she said, crouching down to the child's level, her designer dress pooling around her like snow. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Emma," the little girl whispered, her eyes wide at Victoria's sparkling jewelry. "And I'm Sarah," the mother said cautiously. "Look, we're not causing any trouble. We'll move along if no, please." Victoria interrupted softly. "I live right across the street, and I noticed you both. It's Christmas Eve, and well, nobody should be alone on Christmas Eve." Sarah's eyes filled with unexpected tears. "We lost our apartment last month. I work 2 jobs, but it's just not enough anymore. The shelters are full, and I'm on waiting lists everywhere." Victoria felt her own eyes moisten. Here she was, about to attend a party where single champagne bottles cost more than most people's weekly groceries, while this brave mother was fighting to keep her daughter warm and safe. "Emma," Victoria said, pulling out her phone and showing the little girl photos of her gala preparations. "Do you like pretty dresses?" Emma's face lit up like the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. "They're like princess dresses." An idea began forming in Victoria's mind, one that would have seemed impossible an hour ago. She looked at Sarah with sudden determination. "I have a proposition. There's a Christmas party tonight, and I think it could use some real Christmas magic. Would you both be my special guests?" Sarah shook her head frantically. "Oh no, we couldn't possibly. Look at us, we don't have proper clothes, and leave that to me." Victoria smiled, already texting Marcus. "I happen to know someone in the fashion business." 2 hours later, the Plaza Hotel's grand ballroom gasped collectively as Victoria Sterling made her entrance, not alone, as expected, but accompanied by 2 radiant companions. Sarah wore an elegant burgundy gown from Victoria's personal collection, her hair professionally styled by Victoria's team. Little Emma looked like a fairy tale come to life in a silver dress that sparkled with every step, her face glowing with pure happiness. But the real transformation was in Victoria herself. Gone was the practiced smile of a CEO working a room. In its place was genuine joy as she watched Emma's wonder at the ice sculptures, her delight at the chocolate fountain, her uninhibited giggles as she danced with some of the city's most influential figures. "Ladies and gentlemen," Victoria announced when it came time for her traditional speech, her voice carrying across the opulent ballroom. "Tonight, I want to tell you about the real meaning of Christmas. I met two extraordinary people today who reminded me that our greatest treasures are found in stock, portfolios, or fashion magazines." She gestured toward Sarah and Emma, who stood beside her, Emma clutching a new teddy bear gifted by another guest. Sarah works 2 jobs while raising her beautiful daughter alone. They've faced challenges that would break many of us. Yet Emma's joy and Sarah's strength have shown me what true grace looks like. Tonight isn't just about raising money, it's about recognizing the heroes among us. The room fell silent, then erupted in the most genuine applause Victoria had ever heard at one of her events. As the evening continued, something magical happened. Guests began approaching Sarah not with pity, but with respect and genuine interest in her story. The head of a major corporation offered her a position with benefits and flexible hours. A renowned chef invited Emma to visit his restaurant's kitchen. A real estate mogul discreetly arranged temporary housing while Sarah got back on her feet. But perhaps the most beautiful moment came when Emma tugged on Victoria's gown and whispered, "Are you an angel? Mommy says angels help people." Victoria knelt down, her eyes shimmering with tears that had nothing to do with her carefully applied makeup. "No, sweetheart. But maybe we can all try to be angels for each other." Later that night, as Victoria walked Sarah and Emma to their temporary suite at the plaza, another guest's generous offer, Emma turned to her with serious eyes. "Victoria, will you be our friend forever?" Victoria felt her heart expand in ways she never thought possible. Forever and always. Emma. As she watched them disappear behind the elevator doors, Victoria realized that in trying to give Sarah and Emma a magical Christmas, they had given her something far more precious. They had reminded her that success without compassion is hollow, that wealth without kindness is worthless, and that sometimes the most profound transformations happen not in boardrooms, but in the simple act of seeing and caring for another human being. 6 months later, Victoria Sterling's company launched a new initiative, Angels Among Us, a program providing job training, childcare, and housing assistance to families in need. Sarah became the program's first success story and eventually its director. While Emma started kindergarten at one of the city's finest schools, her college fund already secured by an anonymous donor. But every Christmas Eve, the 3 women meet for dinner, not at expensive restaurants, but at Sarah's cozy apartment, where Emma still keeps the silver dress from that magical night. They light candles, share stories, and remember the Christmas when 3 strangers became family, when kindness melted hearts, and when the true spirit of Christmas transformed not just one life, but an entire community. Because sometimes the greatest gifts aren't wrapped in designer paper, they're wrapped in love, delivered through acts of kindness and received with hearts wide open to the magic that happens when we choose to see each other not as strangers, but as opportunities to spread light in a world that desperately needs it. Like and subscribe for more videos.